Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becta's Big Night In #2. Thanks so much for ordering, and thanks so much for letting us be part of some special celebrations for you at home. I have been looking forward to this menu all week, and I can't wait to get into it. It's going to be delicious. So we've got a lobster gnudi, Nova Scotia lobster. And for those of you who haven't had gnudi before, so it's a ricotta dumpling, like gnocchi, but filled with cheese, rich and delicious. We've got a beautiful lamb sirloin for the main course, crusted in sumac and done with all these beautiful vegetables, and then a beautiful strawberry tart to finish it off. Running this menu from mid-June to mid-July. So whenever you're watching this, I hope you're going to love tonight's menu. And our patios are opening tomorrow. I am so excited. But let's get into the deliciousness at home. So the gnudi, we're just going to warm up a pan to medium-high heat and put in 2 tablespoons of canola oil, assuming that there is 2 of you for this meal. I'm using both canola oil and grapeseed oil tonight. The canola oil for the gnudi and then some grapeseed oil for the lamb, but you can use canola oil for both. But make sure to have 4 tablespoons of butter nearby because we're going to need those. Okay, and the lamb, bring all of the ingredients to room temperature for about 30 minutes ahead of time. You want to cook them when they are room temperature. I'm going to season it with salt and pepper while we're waiting for our pan to warm up. I patted it dry with a little paper towel, always good to do, because we cook this lamb sous vide, so under pressure with an immersion circulator so that it's already at rare, basically. And so we want to just get it to medium rare. If you want to go a little bit further, the instructions are in there, basically 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes per degree of doneness. If you want medium, add 2. If you want medium well, add 4. Wouldn't suggest going past that. Okay, so the pan should be getting ready. And I also want to warm up our velouté on low. Now the texture at first is going to be a little like a thick cream cheese, but then when it warms up, it just melts away. And as soon as that's warm, we're going to throw the lobster in there and give it a stir. But our pan should be almost ready for our gnudi. Toss them right in there. We had a little accident with our stovetop over here the other day, and we broke the little plastic piece, so we're waiting on a replacement part. So I'm going to be juggling around a little bit more and working on the induction cooktop that I'm a little less familiar with. I must be honest. Gas is where I've really gotten used to. Okay, so what else do we want to do? Okay, so I see the velouté warming up, and literally you're just going to take the lobster and drop it right in there and give it a stir. I've got my big spoon right there. And you don't want it too hot. And you shouldn't need to season this at all with salt and pepper. It should be all seasoned up nicely for you. So I'm going to turn the heat down on this guy, and I'm going to turn the heat up on this guy because it was supposed to be medium high. And I maybe left it a little bit before the video started. And while that's warming up, I want to tell you about one of my favorite wines in the entire world. I've had so many special moments with this wine, both serving it to guests and then enjoying it myself. So when we first opened Becta in 2003, we did a private label Riesling and Gamay Noir from Cave Spring Vineyards, and they've been great partners ever since. And then about 5 years ago, we reached out to them because we want to do a private label sparkling wine. And so 100% Chardonnay, aged in oak barrels, and then aged on the lees for 3 years. So just like great champagne, all from the Beamsville Bench area of Niagara. This wine just bursts from the glass. And for a big night in at home, you should enjoy some sparkling wine. I like to put it in a white wine glass, but you can also put it in a champagne flute if it's more festive for you. But this way you can get your nose right in there. So I enjoy this more. But no judgment either way. Okay, so the gnudi is looking good. Give it a stir. Now we may want to use tongs for this because you want the sides to get brown. So both sides. So almost treat it like, a pot sticker dumpling that you turn over. Right, and let's go back to Chef Rich's instructions. About 2 minutes per side, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter per person, and then the sugar snap peas to warm them thoroughly for 1 more minute. So we're almost there. 2 tablespoons of butter is going in because we need a little decadence in our lives. So just give it a little stir until the butter is almost melted. Then we can take our snap peas and toss it right in there. I love that the late spring ingredients are starting to come into season now, and we can just play with this. It's so great. I got this bubbling away. I'm going to turn the velouté down just a touch because we don't want to make the lobster rubbery. So what I've done is I've taken a nice big coupe bowl here, but any kind of pasta bowl will work well for this. Um, and I've got my almonds and my pickled shallots that are going to be going on top. Oh, it smells incredible. It's just this nuttiness that comes with the butter and the gnudi. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off now. So what we want to do, if you have such a thing as a slotted spoon like this, it's a great one because we want to keep the lobster in the pot. It'll keep it warm, but we also want the lobster appearing on top. Chef Rich and I had a big conversation about this today because typically he likes to plate lobster on the bottom to keep it warm, but I promised him in this case that all of you would eat this right after plating. So please, although I'm recording the video all at once, I would love you guys to enjoy the appetizer first and then come back and cook the main course so that you can enjoy this while it's warm. But I leave it to you to figure out how to do that. Okay, so next up is going to be our gnudi. Try to separate them well between the two. I think we've got 7 pieces per person. Of course, when I do this with my wife and son, my wife always, because I'm plating for 2, and then she comes and divides it into 3. So I feel like I do all this work and then she changes the work, which is good, so that all 3 of us can eat. Okay, that's going to be off there. And while that's happening, I am going to crank my cast iron pan, which has been on low for a little bit. 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. And this guy off, off. All right, now the lobster can go on top. Try to mix up the claws and things so that everyone gets a little bit of both. Of course, I want one, because this menu goes on for a month, I want one that has all the beautiful claw stuff on one. So hopefully you have ordered based upon my beautiful photography skills. And there we have a little more velouté, so you might as well get it right in there. Okay, so toasted almonds. And the colors are really popping. And then our pickled shallots. I got to tell you, I've just been so excited by this idea of patios opening tomorrow to be able to serve people in person again. And I feel like this time is the for real last lockdown. That's what people are talking about. Our staff have a little bit of PTSD from all the lockdowns that they've had to endure and back and forth. But everyone is super keen to get open again. So there is our lobster gnudi with the toasted almonds, pickled shallots, sugar snap peas, and the dill velouté. Okay, so our pan is looking smoking hot. We want to make sure that we turn the hood fan on and let me get my other pan working. I'm going to put this over here, but the induction range is not going to like it. So I've seasoned the lamb both sides. You want it to get a little pop in there. Got our main course stuff working over here. And so important to have a resting rack nearby. What I use is a baking sheet, a little cookie sheet on top. Got some tongs nearby, and a spoon to give the demi-glaze a little spin. I wonder, maybe this pot is good for the induction. Let us find out. It doesn't like that. So while the lamb is resting, I'm going to put it back on the gas because this pot I love, but it's only good on the gas, not on the induction. Okay, so moving along to the main course garnishes. We've got 2 tablespoons of neutral oil in here, and medium high. So we want 3 minutes per side on the lamb until it's got a nice good crust on it. So while that's happening, let me talk about our red wine. Another favorite of mine. I love sort of picking the wine, especially with Connor for the big night in, because we need to show off our best stuff. So this is a Barbera d'Alba from the Piedmont region of Italy. Finocchio is the producer, and it's just glorious. Think of Barbera as the Pinot Noir of Italy. It's got that earthy funkiness that Italian red wines often have, but it's got that elegance and brightness that a great Pinot Noir will have. I know this is going to be awesome with the lamb. Lamb, nice crust on it. Turn it off there. We won't need to use the oven at all. My other pan is kind of getting smoking, so I'm going to throw the cipollini onions in. Now, the cipollinis have already been cooked. When I first saw the instructions, I thought, that's not a long time to cook onions. But yeah, Chef Rich already did the hard work, and Chef Megan as well. So you don't have to. I'm going to turn this down a little bit because we're going to wait. We're going to have to wait for the lamb anyway. As soon as we get a nice crust on that, then we're pulling it off. And we want to rest it for at least 5 minutes. Very, very key. Okay, get rid of my extra almonds. Okay, so I think that's going to be good. So I'm going to move this guy off and get the lamb resting. Move it here. Then I can put my demi-glaze back on, put on low, give it a stir. I almost want a different little spatula here for the mushrooms and cipollinis to move them around because they're sticking a little bit. Let's go back to the instructions. For 5 minutes, stirring occasionally. After 5 minutes, we're going to add the beets and then the butter. Well, maybe we'll turn this up a little bit more then. Gas is just so much easier when you turn it. But we'll get this fixed up for hopefully our next meal kit. I can already taste the lamb with this beautiful Barbera. And while we're waiting, well, by the way, you've been looking at my pantry the whole time over there. Let's get the dessert going. I got the opportunity to taste test a bunch of these desserts. The Big Night In we take very seriously. So we want to do something really great. And so we have a strawberry tart with vanilla mousseline, white balsamic jelly, strawberry ganache, fresh strawberries, and mint. Oh, this is great. So I'd almost treat the cipollinis like you did the gnudi and turn them over like they are dumplings so that there's nice brown on both sides. And we're going to be very close then for our butter. Oh, wow. I completely forgot about the butter on the lamb. That's okay. It's not too late. Let's get the pan cranked up again. This is what you have with only one-shot videos. Sometimes you forget about stuff. So I'm going to melt 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan. So hopefully you watched this video in advance and you're not doing what I did. It's just 45 seconds. Hopefully it doesn't mess up my resting too much, but we want the lamb to get a little butter bathing. Okay, and the butter is there with our veg. So the beets are going in. Okay, this is melted. Yeah, we're not warming up the lamb too much here, so I'm not going to worry about the resting as much. The whole point of resting, in case you hadn't appreciated it before, is so the juices run to the center of the meat. So glad I didn't get rid of the pan. Demi-glaze back on. I've had lots of comments from guests that says they love to see me sort of mess things up and try to recover. So I hope you all appreciate it. So the beets, by the way, in addition to having beautiful color and flavor, are also smoked. So it gives it that really extra big notch of flavor for this dish. And we're going to need to season everything. Nice generous amount of salt. And then we've got some gremolata that's going to add some acidity to the dish as well. All right. So our lamb is close. This guy's off. Demi-glaze. Let's make sure it's nice and warm. I can pull the lamb over, get ready to slice. As soon as it's done resting, get the last little bit of butter out of there. And then for dessert, hopefully you guys can see that. We've got this lovely mint going on the beautiful strawberry tart. So there we are. So strawberry tart with vanilla mousseline, white balsamic jelly, strawberry ganache, fresh strawberries, and mint. Super tasty. All right, so our lamb, try to find the direction of the grain, and you're going to cut against the grain. I think we did well here. And because we've got the sumac crust, it's got an extra texture. And I'm going to do a little final seasoning. Salt is one of the great hacks in the kitchen. Okay, we can turn that off now. So cipollini's, mushrooms, and beets going down. Try to divide them evenly. Hear my son coming down for dinner. He is getting hungry, I am sure. Our shiitakes. And there's a little bit of butter there. Sauce, why not put it right on? Okay, all that's off, demi-glaze done. I can turn that off, give it a little stir. Oh, gremolata first. Steve, read the instructions. That's what they're there for. You went through this ahead of time. And this gives it some green and some freshness and a little bit of acidity. Sort of drizzle it out on the plate as well, so that the camera also sees the green. And then another little trick is that you can flip the last piece of lamb around. So when you fan it out on the plate, you can see it all. Fantastic. I know which one is my perfect photo. And then we're going to do some demi-glaze on top. And then around the plate. And while I'm doing this, I just want to say thanks for all the people out there who have done such an incredible job supporting us during this most challenging of years. I really hope that we get to have you back into the dining room soon for a wonderful, relaxed, and safe dining experience, or on one of our patios, because that's as much as fun as these are. You know, when the hospitality is in person, that's when we, as a group, get the most out of it. Our beautiful lamb sirloin with the smoked beets, shiitake mushrooms, cipollini onions, gremolata, and demi-glaze, red currant demi-glaze. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for ordering. Thanks for being a part of this. And I hope you have a great dinner and enjoy your big night in.